from the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, UI7 News, your U of I news source.
Good evening, Champaign-Urbana. I'm Phill Waters.
And I'm Hinna. Thanks for joining us. Topping off your news, yesterday the U.S. Secret Service intercepted a number of explosive packages addressed to political and media figures. Just today, 2 more suspicious packages were found. The packages' targets range from Robert De Niro to former President Barack Obama to the Time Warner Center. President Donald Trump spoke out condemning the attempt. CNN's Jeff Cellini has the story.
This egregious conduct is abhorrent to everything we hold dear and sacred as Americans.
In the East Room of the White House, President Trump condemning the attempted act of violence today through explosive devices sent to CNN and high-ranking Democratic leaders.
The full weight of our government is being deployed to conduct this investigation and bring those responsible for these despicable acts to justice. We will spare no resources or expense in this effort.
The president issuing a rare call for civility.
In these times, we have to unify. We have to come together and send one very clear, strong, unmistakable message that acts or threats of political violence of any kind have no place in the United States of America.
But not mentioning that he is often the one sowing division. Those targeted the Clintons, Obamas, former Attorney General Eric Holder, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Democratic donor George Soros, and CNN are all favorite subjects of attack by the president and his allies at campaign rallies.
But if you want the fake news to finally investigate Hillary Clinton, we'll just have Don't worry, I don't like him either, okay? Good old Maxine, low IQ individual.
And the president is routinely accusing his rivals of sparking violence.
The choice in November could not be more clear. Democrats produce mobs. Republicans produce jobs. Right?
After briefings by federal authorities, the president did not echo the words of New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, who said the package bombs were a clear act of terrorism. The mayor urging the president and all officials to cool their heated rhetoric.
I say this to all public officials of all partisan affiliations. Don't encourage violence. Don't encourage hatred. Don't encourage attacks on media. This atmosphere of hatred is contributing to the choices people are making to turn to violence.
Republican Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona echoing the message from the Democratic mayor.
We've got to tone it down. Got to see people as opponents but not enemies.
13 days before the midterm elections, the attempted attacks carrying strong political overtones. Speaking in Florida today, Hillary Clinton, the recipient of one of the devices, praised law enforcement for stopping the package before it reached her Chappaqua home.
But it is a troubling time, isn't it? And it's a time of deep divisions, and we have to do everything we can to bring our country together.
As of this moment, FBI and NYPD have not found the suspect responsible for the packages. The packages are currently being examined in an FBI laboratory in Quantico, Virginia.
In other political news, the White House is vowing to do whatever it takes to stop the thousands of migrants making their way to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Wait till you see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a very secure border.
President Trump says he's considering a military option beyond the National Guard to protect the border with Mexico. That's what he told reporters as thousands of migrants continue to head north through Mexico towards the U.S. border. The United Nations says as many as 7,000 people make up that migrant caravan, but the Mexican government says that number has now dropped down to about 4,500. The march started in Honduras, passed through Guatemala, and is now in the southern Mexican town of Huixla. It will likely be weeks, if not months, before the migrants reach the U.S. border. Immigration is a hot-button issue that affects Americans of all walks of life. Here at home, students at the University of Illinois held an event on Wednesday to raise awareness for the issues that face immigrants and their families in America. Members of various cultural Greek life chapters came together to celebrate immigrants and everything that they do for the country. Rucha Shastri, a member of the South Asian sorority Delta Kappa Delta, spoke of the need to support immigrants to grow stronger as a nation.
We're all human. We all like have people that we know that are from a different country. So to not stand with them or belittle them in any way would just be stunting our own growth as a nation.
Members of the sorority Hermandad de Sigma Iota Alpha Incorporado organized the event and welcomed 11 other co-sponsors to teach students about the various cultural organizations on campus. Tables were set with interactive activities where participants could get henna designs on them, cultural stickers, and learn more about the organizations that attended the event.
You know, Phil, as they always say, the early bird gets the worm, and the early voter gets the ballot. The first early voting campus location opened in the Illini Union today. Room 404 in the Union is the only place on campus for early voting. Any voter registered in Champaign County may vote at any location. However, if you do cast your vote early, you are not eligible to cast a vote on Election Day, which is November 6th. For early voters looking to vote in the Union, room 404 is open today until 6 p.m. as well as tomorrow 10 a.m. to 6. Saturday has a quick slot from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the rest of the week follows at 10 a.m. For more information, visit champaigncountyclerk.com. So there's a lot of chances to get your vote in.
Sure
even over
is.
the weekend.
And speaking of the weekend, we're joined by our very own Dylon Hopp. Quick look at the weather. That's a nice suit you got on, buddy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've just been wearing this suit, but I also have 2 layers underneath because it's getting a little bit colder right now.
Sure is.
A little bit chilly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a full 5-day forecast for you in just a few minutes when we return.
Still to come on UI7 News, a new slice of incentive for this upcoming voting season.
And a little later, a look at how flooding is affecting a campus high-rise and its residents. Stay with us.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Hello and welcome back. You've heard of Netflix and chill. Now get ready for pizza and politics. A twist on a politician's fundraiser to encourage voter turnouts for the upcoming midterm elections.
The People's Agenda, a political education committee of Champaign, held its fundraiser at the Blind Pig Brewery last night, where attendees enjoyed pizza, beer, and the reminder to exercise their right to vote.
If you don't vote, then you don't have any voice in what's happening. You're not saying what you want and what you would choose if you're in your own government, and that's kind of the most important part of a democracy. If you're going to be part of a democracy, be part of it.
The committee does not align itself with a particular party or candidate, but stands for one platform only: representation.
Decisions are made by those who show up. If you don't show up, then your voice isn't heard, you don't get a say in what's happening, and they may well pick something you don't like. I think we should go with the side that wants you to exercise your voice.
In attendance was County Board 7 nominee Eric Thorsland, who offered a valuable message that he wants others to heed.
Speak up, it's your future. It's your future that matters here. Don't give up your vote, because if you do, we're not going to let you complain.
So it's 4:04 at the Union, right, Hinna?
Right you are, Phil.
Great piece and hopefully great pizza. Is it safe to assume the za was on point?
You know, Phil, they came for the pizza, but they stayed for the conversation. Everybody was motivated to talk about politics and voting, not so much about the pizza, which could be a good sign. It just means that the students care about politics.
College students ignoring free pizza. That must have been some positively riveting conversation.
Pizza or not, early voting is happening, right, Phill?
Sure is. And even with early voting already underway, our UI7 reporter, Navarro, caught up with some students who are really getting involved in their civic duties.
Illini Democrat President Audrey Dumbro knew that she needed to make an impact for this year's midterms. This year she's been campaigning for Betsy Dirksen-Lodrigan, Champaign's Democratic Congress candidate. She says that student involvement in these elections is especially important.
We are in a district that is very, very close. So when we talk about your vote counting, it really, really counts somewhere like here.
The midterms in 2014 only saw a 39% turnout for millennials. This might make it a bit of a tall task for college students like Dumbro to get other college students to vote. But she says that these midterms have actually increased member numbers and enthusiasm.
They realize, hey, not only can I vote, I can also go out and talk about candidates and do what you're doing.
It's the same type of proactive mindset that brought senior Erica Finke to becoming a campus recruiter for Governor Bruce Rauner in his re-election campaign.
And I think it's especially important because, especially after the last presidential election, some people weren't happy with the outcome of that. And I think it really was an awakening for people that just complaining about it isn't enough. You actually have to be involved.
The focus is on for these upcoming midterms for candidates and student volunteers alike. Betsy Lodrigan's niece, Dylon, is volunteering for her campaign. He says younger involvement across the board is important.
Historically, they're one of the least represented groups because they don't really get to the polls. So, seeing a lot of action on campus like we're seeing this semester is definitely a good look.
Time will tell if enough millennials turn out to make an impact on the polls. Till then, students like Dumbro will keep working. For UI7 News, I'm Navarro.
A reminder that the upcoming midterm elections will officially take place Tuesday, November 6th. A number of local, state, and national positions will be on the ballot, so make sure to do a little research on each candidate. Getting out of midterms, it's been 3 weeks since Illini Tower residents were faced with an unexpected flood. UI7 News' Dixie Limbachia has the story.
The tower was flooded from the 4th floor to the 1st, caused by a sprinkler that went off in one resident's apartment. The students occupying those floors have since moved. One resident, Yuhan Lee, says that the flood caused some inconveniences.
They have a temporary placement for us, and we have to move to a new dorm room, and I have to stay with 3 strangers I don't know and live with them.
Illini Tower officials refunded about $33,000 back to 43 students affected for the remainder of their lease. Ronnie Davis, the general manager, anticipates that students will be able to come back by January 2019.
We're going to certainly make sure that the spaces are as fixed up, clean, and put back together as best as possible, and we're looking to make sure it's also safe.
While floors 4 to 1 have now been closed off, student resident Nathalia Espinosa was able to take a peek at the damage done.
I've been on the 2nd floor and I see the walls on the edges are taken off. There's no floor or anything. No one lives really on the 2nd floor is what I've heard.
The main entrances have now been closed off as well as the main lobby. Preparations for the renovations are in works, but management is doing what they can to help the residents. For UI7 News, I'm Dixie Limbachia.
4 out of 15 residential floors were affected. Even though housing may be uncertain for these students, Illini Towers is able to provide emergency housing at the Illini Union Hotel for 2 days and a shuttle bus for those students in need.
It doesn't come as a surprise that with thousands of students on campus, they all get involved in some interesting hobbies. However, managing concerts is a unique one. Junior Gavin Good has been heavily involved in the rap industry for some time. Over the semester, he worked with the local venue, Canopy Club, to bring rapper C. Honcho to the University of Illinois. C. Honcho is a Chicago-based rapper that Good has written about for magazines. Good has invested a lot into this show, his time, his effort, and his money.
It's hard to assess the worth, the monetary worth of an artist and of a club for a time being when you haven't really done that before and you don't have anything to compare it to. I don't know if it would be a career, but it's just a fun thing that could turn into something more if it goes well.
Shot good. The show on Saturday brought in about 300 guests. Good looks forward to working with Canopy Club in the future.
It's always great to see students getting involved with local artists and venues. Still to come on UI7, your weather forecast with Dylon Hopp.
And we'll also have a quick look at one of my favorite activities, picking pumpkins. Stay tuned.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hello and welcome back to UI7 News. I'm Hinna.
And I'm Phill Waters. The spooky month of October is drawing to a close. Let's find out if the forecasts are equally as spooky with UI7's Dylon Hopp.
Good afternoon, Champaign, Urbana. I'm Dylon Hopp with your UI7 weather. If you'll take a look behind me, a lot of people are heading down to Nangan Pumpkin Patch in Sydney, Illinois, trying to pick some pumpkins just in time for Halloween. And it's not too bad right now. We've got a lot of fall weather. So let's see what we got in Champaign. 53 degrees up in Rantoul. We're seeing 54 throughout the local area. Danville 51, Mattoon 57. It's just going to be those mid 50 degrees. So even Peoria 53, Bloomington normal 51, and down in Springfield 55. Taking a look at our Midwest temperatures, really doesn't change that much either. The low will be Davenport 49, Des Moines 52, Kansas City 51, St. Louis 55. And looking over here, Chicago 52, Indianapolis 54, Louisville 55. Really pretty much the same temperature. It's this fall season right now. And if you'll take a look at tonight's weather forecast, we're expecting some late rain and 42 degrees with some east-northeast winds of 7 miles per hour. So I definitely recommend bringing a jacket and even like a winter jacket because it will get pretty cold, especially if it's raining. Tomorrow, expect similar stuff. It's going to be light rain and 53 degrees. So definitely bring that waterproof jacket, but you can take it easy a little bit because if you look at the forecast for the week, you'll even see that it does clear up a little bit throughout the week, but there are going to be a lot of light showers. So tonight, like 53, 42, the low of 42. Tomorrow, 52, low of 40, and light rain. On Saturday, it clears up a bit. Like I said, partly cloudy. So 57 is the high for the week with a low of 41. Sunday, we're expecting those showers again. 56 with a low of 38. And on Monday, 56 again with a low of 39. Expect temperatures to drop in the coming weeks. And now, make sure to wear appropriate clothing for this Halloween weekend.
Thanks, Dill.
Speaking of making it rain, our sports anchor and one of my favorite people, Shane Eisenhuth, is here with a preview of the latest in sport. What's going on around the field?
Thanks, Phil. We had a big week in sports today with postseason baseball and college basketball starting up soon. We have a lot of sports to cover. Coming up, we take a look at the Boston Red Sox securing their second win in the World Series. We also get a chance to see what the women's basketball team is up to during the preseason. And finally, Champaign Central High School has a big season this year and is on the prowl for the playoffs starting Saturday. That and more coming up after the break.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Welcome back. I'm Shane Eisenhuth with the UI7 Sports Roundup. In Major League Baseball, the World Series is well underway. Last night concluded Game 2 of the series, where the Red Sox beat the Dodgers 4-2. David Price earned his second postseason victory, pitching 6 innings and only letting up 2 runs. J.D. Martinez was also instrumental to the team's success, breaking a 5th inning tie with a 2-run single. The teams are back at it this Friday at Dodger Stadium, and the first pitch is scheduled for 8:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Now on to local news. The Friday night lights are burning bright on the high school gridiron as the IHSA state football playoffs begin tomorrow.
Go Maroon, go White Heat, go Rams!
Champaign Central is one of the 3 Champaign County high schools to earn a playoff berth this season. The Maroons clinched a spot by dismantling Peoria Manual 49-14 last Friday. This is the first trip to the playoffs since 2015 for Champaign Central. With 6 wins, the Maroons have already tied their second most winningest season in the last 2 decades. Champaign Central will begin its pursuit for the 5A state championship on Saturday when traveling to play Carbondale High School in the first round. With the season fast approaching, the women's basketball team is taking the day off to spend time with their fans. I had the privilege of meeting with them during their annual trick-or-treat event with the Stars.
Not bad, right? Good!
Today, up in Sports Complex is filled with sounds other than a ball bouncing and crowds cheering.
It's a nice family event for kids. Doesn't cost anything, which is always nice. And just having fun for Sunday, right? Yeah.
Today is all about community. With activities like face painting, you can see the women's basketball team off the court. The women's basketball team are the stars of the event, making crafts, giving autographs, and handing out candy. But for senior Jalen Kirkpatrick, it's more than just that.
It's just a fun way to just get to know everybody a little bit better and, you know, give back to the community where they give so much to us.
Senior Alex Whittinger, who works the face painting booth every year, loves just how imaginative the kids can be.
They always give me like really like crazy requests, like make me look like Spider-Man or like just make like things I can't do, but I try. You messed it up, kid?
No, never.
Kirkpatrick believes the connections she makes here are essential to drawing fans to the games.
It's cool to build a relationship with the people you see here and to then see them again at games, and you know, you start to pick out faces and you start to build a relationship with them that way, and it's just great.
Events like these are not only fun, but also a great way to strengthen the bonds between sports and the community. And that's all the time we have today for sports. Now on to Joe Longo with today's entertainment update.
Thanks, Shane. It's no secret that remakes and throwbacks are dominating entertainment this year, and this week is no different. We've got a hip-hop remix of a holiday classic, a dark twist on a beloved witchy sitcom, and a shredded semi-autobiographical directorial debut. It's not even Halloween yet, but rapper Tyler, the Creator, already has his mind and musical talents set on Christmas.
You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel. Mr. Grinch.
The lyric video dropped for the Grammy-nominated rapper's take on You're the Mean One, Mr. Grinch. The new Grinch movie and its seriously stylish new theme song hits theaters November 9th and stars Benedict Cumberbatch as the Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Unlike Tyler, the Creator, Netflix knows what holiday is coming up.
Are you willing to forsake the path of light and follow the path of night?
You can binge the new series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina this weekend ahead of Halloween. The remake of the 90s classic Sabrina the Teenage Witch stars Kiernan Shipka, aka our beloved Sally Draper on Mad Men. She plays Sabrina, and early reviews say she's magical. And rounding out your entertainment news, here's the latest Oscar update.
How long have you been friends with those guys? A couple months. They're really cool. They're so cute. They're like at the age before guys become dicks.
Jonah Hill makes his directorial debut with Mid-90s, a semi-autobiographical story of 13-year-old skater Stevie, who comes of age in, you guessed it, mid-1990s Los Angeles. The film co-stars Lucas Hedges, who's dominating the awards track once again and will later be seen in both Boy Erased and Ben is Back. In mid-90s, he plays the abusive older brother, which is quite a departure for the actor who's made his name in tender-hearted teen roles. And that's what to see this week. I'm Joseph Longo. Catch me at the box office. Back to you, Hinna and Phill.
You know, Phill, I always kind of felt for the Grinch. He's just misunderstood, dude.
I agree. While we're on the topic of warming hearts, UI7 News' Peyton Wesner has a lovely report on how a day at the pumpkin patch can turn into a family tradition.
Ooh, that one looks good. Maybe that can be Parker's?
For some, it's a simple selection. Others, a meticulous process. Roaming a pumpkin patch with a wagon in hand is a tradition.
To see her run and the enjoyment and the happy on her face whenever she first sees them. I mean, it's exciting.
This fall marks the first time Crawford's granddaughter Michaela chose a pumpkin, an experience Kim began with her own children years ago.
According to the United States Department of Agriculture, Illinois leads all states in pumpkin acres harvested since 2012. The Negangard pumpkin patch is the product of 35 acres, meaning quite the variety exists for those searching for the perfect pumpkin in Champaign County.
Co-owner of Negangard Pumpkin Patch, Mitch Negangard, sees firsthand the surge in pumpkin sales. He says his family farm has expanded its pumpkin acreage to meet demands.
We've increased our production every year for the past 5-6 years, and it's grown into such a nice business for us that we don't see any end in sight.
University of Illinois professor of plant pathology Mohammed Babadoost has been studying Illinois pumpkins for 19 years. He says the reason for the state's successful growth surrounds us.
Illinois soil and the climates are very conducive for pumpkin production.
The agricultural science aside, for families, an afternoon at the pumpkin patch is the continuation of a hobby that will live for many autumns to come. In Sydney, Illinois, I'm Peyton Wesner, UI7 News.
With just 6 days until Halloween, pick up your pumpkin before it's too late. Some pumpkin patches, such as Negangard, close at the end of October.
Who brought this guy?
Appeared out of the blue, I think.
You know, I think he's your replacement, Phill.
Ooh, that joke really carved out my heart.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I heard his interview went really well.
Yeah, he was a natural on camera.
Yeah, the spray tan isn't really coming off well on screen, I heard.
Yeah, the bright lights tend to bounce off of his gourd right here.
His bulbous shape.
His bulbous, round shape.
Yeah, but he came in just in time for spooky season. But here's the thing. Regardless of spooky season, it's still election season.
True. We should talk more about that. To keep up with our future stories, which may or may not involve pumpkins, make sure to keep up with us on social media. Give us a like on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at UI7 News.
And to get the most up-to-date news, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search UI7 News. So, you said that let's talk more about election season, right?
I would love to.
Or are you actually going to show up to the polls on November 6th?
I plan on it. I voted last year.
All right.
I plan on voting again.
Tell me where in the union you go to vote.
Room 404.
Oh, wow, good for you, Phill. You're actually paying attention.
There you go.
Good for you. That's kudos.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know right where to go. I'll turn right around and I'll say, Hinna sent me here.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Cast
Use my name. It'll help you there. Yeah. You will. No, actually, no, because I'm doing early voting, dude.
Oh, there you go.
Always do early voting. That's all the time we have today, folks.
Thanks for joining us.
See us next Thursday for more news. Right at 5 p.m. with another edition of UI7 News Break. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Should we just talk to each other?
Well,
yeah.